I think there's decent news as of right now when it comes to ICP, and what is that? Dfinity, not too long ago, they made a post on X, and they said that data being public on the blockchain is a deal breaker for many DApp use cases. Now, DApp stands for decentralized application, but even besides that, it says that vet keys, now vet keys is spelled like VET, then keys, like, to open like a door or whatever. Again, vet keys are now live on their internet computer to solve this, unlocking powerful new capabilities. Now, these capabilities allegedly do include personal data vaults, on-chain end-to-end encrypted chat, time lock reveals, and fair auctions, and also another aspect is allegedly regarding decentralized finance. So I think it's pretty cool. Again, when people take a look at the internet computer, they think sometimes, oh, it's not really doing much and all this type of stuff. But I do like stuff like this because I think it indicates that this is a project that is being taken seriously. It's not being treated as a joke. And when I, again, just break this down right here, I kind of do agree with some of this. Like, for instance, a lot of these developers, sometimes they don't really want to kind of have everything just out there in some cases. Like, for instance, I've seen some cases where a project, adopts a blockchain for, let's say, a certain aspect of their business, and then they eventually kind of don't do it anymore. And I think, again, just due to sometimes the transparent nature of blockchains, I think sometimes these projects don't really want to just kind of adopt it in a large scale. Again, arguably in some cases. So I think maybe there could be, some good things that could hypothetically come out from this. Now, only time will tell, but I like the internet computer because I think arguably it is such an amazing place fundamentally, in my opinion, because for instance, right, for $1 worth of smart contract data, allegedly, on the internet computer, there can be had over 200 million bytes. Whereas on Ethereum, allegedly, around 44 bytes for the exact same price, again, for the price of $1. I mean, that's a totally night and day difference. Not to mention, allegedly, the average cost per instruction on the internet computer is over 40 million times less expensive than Ethereum. I mean, that's, again, a very massive difference. But of course, some people may think, oh, if the internet computer is so good, why is it not better than Ethereum as of right now? Well, very hard to do that, right? I mean, I don't think it can maybe ever overtake Ethereum because Ethereum is just too ingrained. It's just been around for such a long time. Many developers do believe in it. It's kind of like a proven ecosystem in a sense. Whereas if we take a look at the internet computer, it doesn't really have that track record, right? It doesn't have that type of reputation. And again, the way I take a look at it, even despite having good fundamentals, it doesn't have that reputation. But then it doesn't mean that hypothetically it won't gain some adoption because I do like kind of the direction in which the internet computer is heading. Like, for instance, not too long ago, we saw the Solana and ICP integration being live, and that is good, I think, because if we take a look at Solana, very massive layer one blockchain, massive ecosystem when it comes to that as well, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing. And I actually talked about that in more detail in one of my previous videos. But again, the way I take a look at the internet computer is that I don't think it's so bad. Now, initially, when I was talking about the internet computer, kind of the main narrative was trying to decentralize the internet, which I understand. It's kind of like a tall order, and also on top of that, it's a grand ambition. I'll say that. But I have never heard someone say, hey, we're going to enter this space to believe in projects that are attempting to decentralize the internet through thousands of computers from all around the world. Haven't really heard that. So then the way I take a look at the internet computer is that it's a good thing they're kind of having a shift a little bit. Like, for instance, now they're more so talking about like caffeine AI, which only time will tell as to how good that could maybe be moving forward because I need to kind of see it be 100% fully in fifth gear type of mode, I would say, before I can really think about what it could be. But again, allegedly the world's first ever self-writing app platform, so that could maybe be pretty cool as well. We also take a look at the kind of focus the internet computer has when it comes to decentralized AI. Not to mention, we take a look at, the internet computer showcasing how it can allegedly connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles, which I think is arguably a pretty big victory in and of itself because if we take a look at it, something like Chainlink, something like Pyth, they pretty much kind of are focused on oracles. Now, let me explain what an oracle is. An oracle is basically a data feed that brings data from off the chain, right, This is called off-chain data, and then they bring that over into the blockchain. Now, the reason why this is even done is because many decentralized applications out there, they cannot function properly without this off-chain data. Again, the internet computer can allegedly, hypothetically, bypass that whole process, connecting Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. Isn't that kind of a game changer? Will the internet computer make Chainlink or Pyth obsolete? No, I don't think so. I mean, I still think that the Pyth network, something like Chainlink, I still think it's going to have its, adoption. But again, besides that point, when I take a look at the internet computer, how can I think that the fundamentals are bad? I like the community. I like what Dfinity is doing. I like the direction in which the internet computer is heading. Not to mention, I like also the exchange listings when it comes to ICP. The community is very passionate. So why would I give up on this? It just makes no sense to me. I am not telling anyone to buy ICP, by the way. I can only speak on my behalf, but this is just the way to take a look at it. I mean, I don't want to give up when it comes to ICP. Now, let's say ICP were to go to the price of $100. Considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point is around $53.5 billion. Around a 20x from here. Now, some people may be thinking that, oh man, this is kind of bad and all this. Well, I don't really think it's that bad, because if we take a look at something like Bitcoin, in the next 6 to 10 months, what could it realistically, hypothetically do? Now, some people may be thinking 300 grand, who knows? Because how can I take a look into the future? It's not possible for me to do that. But let's say Bitcoin were to go in a make-believe scenario to 300 grand, that's slightly less than a 3x from here. Again, right, even ICP going to the price of just $50 is already way more than that, in theory, allegedly. So would I rather choose ICP or Bitcoin? Why would I choose Bitcoin? It just makes no sense, because if I got into it years ago, that's a totally different case. Right now, I'm not going to want to do that. Now, there's only one thing I can control, though, when it comes to all of this, because no matter what I talk about there in a computer, no matter how much I focus on the markets, it's not going to care about what I have to think or do, because the markets are not going to listen or pay attention to me. So then that is completely out of my control, right? What goes on with ICP, what goes on with the market, I cannot control that. But there's only one thing I can control, and that is just myself, and that's dollar cost averaging. Anytime an income, acquiring, holding, and just waiting, literally that's about it. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. All I can do is just research on projects that I find interesting, hold, and I just wait. I mean, beyond that, there's nothing that is within my control when it comes to the internet computer or the markets or whatever. So whenever altcoins do decide to maybe wake up, if they ever do, and let's say maybe they decide to have a fully fledged type of altcoin season, whenever that does happen, I want to be prepared by just being in the market and just holding, and that's about it. But ultimately speaking, I like the direction in which the internet computer is heading, and I don't want to give up. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain. I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.